Don't be afraid of who you are.
So the lightsaber we're taking a look at today, this character had all of maybe 8 or 10 seconds of actual screen time. This is Dark Rey's lightsaber. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Collector's Outpost. I am John. So yeah, some of you requested Dark Rey's lightsaber, or staff, I should say. So Rey goes like schizophrenic for a minute and starts battling herself. I think I might like the darker version of her better with the cloak and the staff and everything. But I did think it was kind of cool that it was the staff that folded, which was kind of interesting at that moment. And for me, might have been the only interesting thing about Rey. Now, that's not me saying I didn't like the character. I actually thought Rey was kind of a cool character in Force Awakens, because I actually really did enjoy The Force Awakens. It's everything else that came after that that should have just been deleted before it even hit the screen. But anyway, here we are. Artsabers was kind enough to send this over for everybody to check out. This is a Xeno V3, so it has an app that could run the whole lightsaber, and we'll take a look at that in a little while. I'll put a direct link and a discount code for this down in the description below. But before we dig into this, if you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by. Drop down below, please hit that like button, subscribe, and notification button for upcoming videos. And if you're a returning viewer, thanks so much for stopping back again and hanging out. Let's get into this unboxing. So this is an interesting one to see. I didn't actually think I would review this one. Number one, staffs are very hard to review in this little small space. So I've actually been thinking that I'm not gonna really do staffs anymore. But a bunch of you requested this one, so I was like, all right, let's take a peek at this one. So included is obviously the staff itself. It does have an unlocking mechanism right there. Just push that button and it does fold right in half. Now, connecting it right there are 2 magnets. So it does kind of click together, and then you could just let it go and it will lock in place. So it is kind of an interesting design, the fact that they came up with this kind of locking mechanism here, that you could kind of fold this really long staff away to about half its size and wear on your belt if you had to. However, I'm not seeing any sort of CoverTech clips or D-rings or anything to actually hang this on a belt. But this is kind of heavy, so I'm not sure you'd actually want to hang this on a belt. All right, let's see what else we got here. We have our full manual here, which has all your instructions on how to run it. It also has a whole bunch of information about the Xeno V3 app here. So we do have 2 DC USB charging cables. We have a USB drive. Because this is 2 separate lightsabers technically, they did give you 2 full sets of timing shims, retention screws, and a couple of Allen wrenches. And they included a nice acrylic stand. And when you take all of the protection wrap off, this takes about 2 seconds to pop together. And when it's fully put together, this will kind of what it'll be like on display. It's very long, so let's see how long this is. Looking at basically 27 and 3, just shy of 28 inches long. And then it does come with these 2 Xenopixel blade plugs, which are, as you may know, my least favorite of all blade plugs with these turbines and everything here. They would have kind of looked really cool because they fall all the way down. They would have looked kind of cool in there if they were able to light up. Now the problem is that the retention screws are all the way up here on top. So when you pop these in, they would have to stay up here. And these will never touch the connectors at the bottom. So having these pixel plugs, these kind of generic things, they're kind of useless. And then, of course, we do have 2 36-inch blades, which will look beautiful, but I am not going to use that in the video. I actually have my own 28-inch blades. You can see the difference between the 36 and the 28 here. All right, so let me get these blades hooked up, and while I'm hooking these up, let's jump over to Artsabers' website and take a look at some info. All right, here we are on Dark Rey's page here. Now, you can get this in baselit, Xeno V3, which is this, or Profi. And it looks like the baselit is starting at $523, and the Xeno V3 is $610, and the Profi is $697. Now, again, keep in mind, these are 2 lightsabers. And a lot of you always ask me about shipping information, and it says right here, 3 to 5 days processing time. Delivery takes about 5 to 10 days. And as always, the price you see is the price you pay. All taxes are paid, and it's free shipping. Okay, so I figured before I actually put these blades in, I want to show you a few things. So inside here, this actually opens up over here. If you want to install your sound fonts or anything, This is not a removable chassis. It looks like it is held in there with some retention screws over there. But you have your 18650 battery. There is no charging port here. The charging port is actually on the hilt itself with the power button right there. And then you have your access to your SD card right over here. Now I've noticed that sometimes that this shroud does come a little loose, and it's this little black knob screw over here. That's kind of what's holding that on. So you just want to tighten that up if it does get a little loose. So the one thing I did notice is that unlike some of the Darth Maul staffs I have, when you hold it out and give it a twist, both sides go on. Now, when you have this out like that, it doesn't do that. And I think it's because the first time you actually do see the lightsaber, it is closed up like this. So the whole thing does turn on like this together. And then the very next shot you see is the lightsaber flipping open. So I think that might be why they don't flip on together. See? So only one will work like that. If you do happen to want to hold it like this and turn them on, you have to spin one way and then spin it back the other way. So it'll be like this, and then to you. All right, because basically the chassis are programmed in reverse. They're programmed to be both facing the same way. Now that would also be the same thing for the sound fonts. As you know, you can flip through the sound fonts really fast by holding the saber upside down and giving a twist.
The sun, the third hunter, the master.
Now we have all our typicals. We have blaster blocks. We do have lockups. And if you want to have some fun and really throw people off, put both of them in different fonts. Now the audio is venting out right over here from these openings, and it sounds pretty decent. Now let's flip around the app a little bit. Now the only problem we're going to have is that you can't hook in both of the sabers, both sides here, to the app. You kind of have to do one at a time. Now, I gotta be honest with you, I rarely ever use the app. Number one, there are some connectivity problems. So I tend to not use the apps for either Xeno or SNV4. Xeno is great because you can update all the firmware and software right from the app. I'll show you that really quick too. I use it mostly just to adjust the blade size, any kind of sensitivity with smooth swings or anything like that, and mostly just for the firmware stuff. So what I'm gonna do is just give you a quick run through of the app. I'm not gonna get too in depth with it. So let's connect. As you can see, both sabers are popping up over here because they're both on. And confirm.
App connected.
Pair. All right, so we are hooked up onto this side. Now, what you can do, let me turn the volume down just a little bit.
Volume level 39%.
Now, obviously over here we have the power up on top. We have your battery level right there. We have your volume adjust, your font select. So you just click on font select here. We have 34 installed fonts. And then over here you have a bunch of different controls where you can audition all your different effects. Okay, now if you go into font select over here, you can go into settings, and you actually have a couple of different things that have a few versions of it. So your hum lighting effect is actually the Saber effect here. See how that is more of a fire blade right there? We can change that. Now that's solid.
Unstable. Rainbow blade. Candy blade. Cracked blade. Pulse. Flash blade.
All right, so this is Dark Rey, and she does have that kind of fire blade. So let's go back into the fire blade. And then over here you have force light effect, and you have two versions of that. So you can go force light effect. And it's the same thing. You can go through a few of these things. Clash effects, it has 3 different settings there. Blasters, looks like we have 3 different settings there. Lockup, we have 1. And then you can reset everything over there. Now accent swings, you can adjust how sensitive everything is here to not sensitive at all at 20 or very sensitive at 1. Now over here you have all your different color controls. You can go in here and just bop that around a little bit. Page 2 over here is your basic blade length. Now I am using shorter blades, as you can see. Here's the tip, so we're gonna lower this down and just get it to touch the edge there. And about looks like about 2099. Nope, that's too short. 98 looks about good. 101, so like 100, 101. And what that's gonna allow you to do now is to see all of the effects in all the proper places. So let's actually go into color here. I'm gonna turn this down. That way you can see the effects a lot more. And you'll see what I mean, where all of the effects now fall into the right spot. So when you click on tip drag, this is gonna light up here. All right, so if this is not set up right, and you have a 24-inch blade, a 28-inch blade, but the app is set to 36, you'll never see that stuff. Lockup effects, so you'll see that now towards the middle there. Force effects, everything just kind of lights up. So all of this stuff is just now properly adjusted for that blade length. And then if you have things like Kylo Ren, you have your side blades and all that other stuff. And you can obviously just go through all of these configurations and mess around with all of this stuff here. One of the important things I want to show you is this section here, because this is the coolest part. When you click into your Saber, you'll now see update software. Right? So this is actually slightly out of date. So we can update the whole software right from the app. All right, so let's do that now. Hopefully there's enough of battery in there. All right, update.
Update successful.
Now, if you're doing anything with the app, you are going to kind of want to stay stationary. I've noticed over the last few months that the connectivity just doesn't really hold. And if you kind of move around too much, it will disconnect and you're going to have to reconnect it and, you know, whatever it is that you're doing. I'll be all honest with you, I don't really think you are going to use the app all that much either. I mean, if you're playing with a lightsaber, you kind of want to use the lightsaber, not sit on your phone and tell it what to do. So honestly, I think you're going to wind up using the app like most of us are, is just adjusting your blade size, making a couple of adjustments with maybe sensitivity, and updating the software. Now, one of the reasons why I don't really tend to use the app all that much is because you have 99% of all the control right here at your fingertips. So if you want to adjust your volume, it's really quick, especially on lightsabers like this that have lights. They will actually flash and tell you how many flashes or clicks or whatever you want to call it that indicate a certain thing, such as volume, blade ignitions, because there's a bunch of different styles of ignitions, and blade style, even font change. So right here, you can actually see, and this is actually a great way to learn, is if you have a saber that does have the light. So simply getting to all of the modes, such as volume, is 1,
Volume low.
1, 1.
Volume high.
All right, so you see how that flashed once. So 2, 1, 2.
Unstable.
These are the types of blades. All right, so that's that style of blade. 1, 2.
Rainbow blade.
And you see with the flashing, it's just very easy. So 1, 2,
Pulse.
blade styles. 1, 2, 3.
Broken ignition.
Ignition styles. 1, 2, 3.
Photon ignition.
And then even your fonts. 1, 2, 3, 4.
The Senate.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Wraith.
All right, that is it. This is the Xeno V3 Dark Ray staff. Thank you so much to Artsabers for sending this over. Honestly, I never thought I was going to review this, but a lot of you actually wanted to see it, so I'm glad I was able to get my hands on it. I hope you liked it. Drop down below in the comments. Let me know what you think of this. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and notification button for upcoming videos, and I'll see you all on the next video. Be safe and kind out there in the world. See ya.